Hello, friends. I hope you're having a good weekend. I just wanted to share my conversation with the ladies from The Hue from PodJam in Las Vegas last week. Thought it would be a fun thing to post here on the weekend. I don't really have any preamble or opening here other than to say how much I love these women, and I was so happy that they were all able to attend Las Vegas. And as soon as I heard that they were all in, I said, well, we've got to tape a conversation. This, I believe, is the 8th time we've gotten together for a taping of The Hue, and all 4 of these women are so special, unique, original, and amazing in their own ways. And I know many of you were real excited to meet them, like they were our own in-house celebrities. And so without further ado, our conversation from Las Vegas, PodJam II, the Ladies of The Hue.
Now, I'm very excited to get started right now with this amazing group of women who, what can I say? I think that the coolest thing about them is that this has all been organic. Like, we all just met and started talking at the Hangouts, especially getting to know each other. And if you were to like audition people to be the hosts of a talk show, The View or any others, you'd have all these people come in and you'd be like, oh, this person's great, this person's smart. But what's so special about this group is that they've gotten to know each other, and it's something you could never produce. You couldn't produce this. It just happened because of who they are as individuals and together. And I think this also is just this is the best of us, that we did this, that we created this, and that these 4 women have been such a huge part of this community. They all joined at different times. They're such different individuals, and we all love them and have learned so much from them. And so we've done 7 episodes of The Hue. This is our first ever live taping. I did not think
I was alive when we taped the other ones.
You were not dead. That's right. You were not a live taping.
They've all been live
yes.
tapings.
Well, a lot of people that heard that first one weren't sure about you. It has begun. So we're very excited to start. I'll do a different intro probably for people who weren't here. But let's get started right now with the Ladies of The Hue, everybody. Yeah. It is Vikki, it is Karen, it is Frances, it is Kimberly, and we are so happy to have you all here. I never thought we'd be able to produce this because it's hard to make happen. The fact that y'all came out here and are doing this, I am so grateful. We are so grateful, and this will live forever. So I think the first easiest question is your experience in the past and your general feeling on Las Vegas. And does what happened here stay here? I'll start with you, Karen. I'm starting with you. Have you been here before?
Yes.
Do you like it here?
Sometimes.
Has anything ever happened here that should stay here?
Yes.
Great succinct answer.
No.
And by the way, and I'm gonna
sorry for taking up so much time with those answers.
I'm gonna drop in little things about them along the way, and I just want to say this. Last night, Carrie Williams said, I'm a little almost nervous to meet Karen. And I go, why? And he goes, she's so strong and intimidating, but also so honest and transparently vulnerable. And it's going to be really cool to meet her in person. I just thought that was so lovely.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And then I said, what about Kimberly? He goes, no.
I'm off-putting.
Hand her that mic if you want. I'm going to her, Frances.
Oh,
yes.
So she's done with that? Yes.
Oh, sorry. You want to elaborate?
No, most of the time I've been to Vegas for work. So you have to contain yourself a little bit. But the few times that I've come outside of the confines of work rules, yeah. So, and I think it goes along with where I was age-wise. So maybe rowdier trips in my late 20s, early 30s. I went to a wedding here, and this one I feel like I might crash about 4:30.
Got it.
Before I get ready for this evening.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Spans the gamut.
Yeah. You've been here. This is not your first Vegas.
It is not my first Vegas.
Kimberly, you are a city manager. You're the assistant city manager of a major town. We don't want to major small town in Illinois. You have
somewhere.
You're a very powerful person.
Okay.
You're very well connected, educated, all the things. I feel like this is not. I'm just making an assumption. I feel like Vegas is not your place that you frequent a lot. Correct me now. Spend a lot of time here?
No, you're right. I would say that, the last time I was here was 2008, maybe 2007. I just remember it was when the economy crashed and it was really cheap to come to Vegas. And I was like, we should go to Vegas. And we stayed at the Bellagio, so I know we didn't have money at the time. And did not stay at the Bellagio this time around for the first couple of days. But actually, I'm an experiential person, so I liked walking around and experiencing the communities that I'm in. And so I experienced, I missed the flap things that were on the ground, like all those little flap people. Remember they would hit the papers, right? Yeah. Right, and there was none of that. But this time around, there were women walking around with pasties and pretty much naked. I was like, well, we've upgraded a little bit since the last time. And so I was like, okay, this is a little different. A lot of more malls, and I have a good friend here with me, and she's let's go to the malls. I go to the mall at home. I want to go out, and I don't want to spend money on gambling, and so I am not the right person to come to Vegas with.
Oh, quickly, and everybody should have to answer that too. Do you gamble, Karen?
I might throw $20 in, but I'm not. I can't pay attention.
Okay.
So
I'd rather drink.
Bill, I can't pay attention.
I'd rather drink instead of gamble.
Kimberly, I'm surprised you don't gamble because what with your salary, that's public. Doing well. Doing really well.
I just want you to realize that you keep talking about the salary that in your mind equates to actual dollars, but the federal government and the state government actually reduces that amount. And so, to be honest with you, between my cousin, my family, and the student loans, it's probably the minimum like everyone else has in their bank
We've
accounts.
seen your house.
Yeah, and there's still a hole in it.
There's no lights.
There's a hole.
But Frances.
Hello.
What has been your experience with Vegas? How do you feel about it? And I feel like you have a thing or two to say about gambling.
Yes, I do. Okay, so much like you, it was about 2009 when I was here before, and I had about $13 to my name. I was about to go to grad school, so I was broke as a joke. But I came here with my brothers, so they were my supporters, or I don't know what you want to call them. They were hooking me up. But yes, and it was literally Frank. So the funny thing was we went to a concert where all of those papers were being thrown around, and Wu-Tang Clan was going to be here. So we're like, we got to go see Wu-Tang. Like, we're about to go see the whole clan. It was RZA. That was the only one. We were like, where's ODB? At least rest in peace. But it was just RZA. And then I got to meet, who's the dude from Kiss who always sticks? Gene Simmons. And so I met him at this club, and he puts his hand out to shake, and I do one of these, and he kisses my hand, and it is so nice. And I was like, oh, shit, like Vegas, really? And the fact you knew, I got $2 in my pocket, and I'm meeting Gene Simmons. And
So the best part about that story, you didn't talk about the 2-hour timeshare presentation she had to go through.
Ah, right.
All you say is no, and they just keep giving you more and more. I refuse because I can't afford to do any of this stuff.
I
love that.
Experiences here, and then what about the playing of the games and the gambling of the things?
Yeah, then I was expecting to win money and actually save my life, but it didn't pan out that way because you're playing like penny slots, and so I just kept losing my pennies. But now I actually work for a sports betting company, and so I can't bet, and yeah, here we are.
Seems like when you said you can't, you also were. Still maybe betting. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
What state?
I don't even.
In Vegas,
I know too much. When you know
Vegas.
how the sausage is made, you don't. I don't want to eat the
whatever.
sausage.
Frances,
I know.
tonight,
I
2
got
a.m.
it.
Going, God, give me another hit. Our queen, Vikki.
Stop.
You got married a couple times here, I think. Oh, you married people. You officiated.
No.
Do you like this place?
I like the shows.
The shows.
I don't gamble. Hi, Vikki, Virgo. There you go. And my first time coming to Vegas was for a trip with my girlfriend and I. We were coming to see Barry Manilow. Do not judge me. Do not. So we get all the way. So I say, I'll pay for the gas all the way down. You pay for the gas back. And she's okay. So we get a hotel room. We go to get tickets. And when we go to get the tickets, she says, oh, I'll pay you when we get home. I don't have any money. And I am thinking, okay, I still have to pay for gas home. I still have to pay for food. And I need to buy tickets and I can't do both. And I'm sobbing in the lobby right there by the ticket booth. Oh. And this man comes over and he says, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm not." And I told him the story and he said, "Meet me at the VIP door at 7:00. And I'm like, "Okay, this isn't something weird, right?" And he's, "No, just meet me by the VIP door." So when we got to the VIP door at 7:00, he took us to the front row, right center of the show. And then he told the waitress to come over and give us anything we wanted. And it was just such a sweet thing. But I'm still, if you're listening, I'm still mad at you, Barbara. Just saying. No, I'm still mad at Barbara because Barbara didn't pay me back. No, and then she moved out the next week.
That's how you do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, bring in Barbara. I'm so sorry we're doing this to you.
Come on, Barbara. Come on, Barbara. I'm going to give it to you.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So that's our Vegas. Now we have a little context on your feelings about this place, and we're very happy that y'all joined us here. Now, I have a couple of ideas that we did think of. Generally, with The Hue, we do whatever happens, and it's a lot of fun. But we do have a few ideas usually that I start. And so I didn't pick this question or topic. They did, and I want to be clear about that because I wouldn't have said this. Actually, let me just say this before I... What?
Under the bus.
Right.
Well,
when this sucks, it's on them.
That's not a... No, the topic is harder to be a woman or black. And I think...
that was my question.
I know, but I think if people thought I was asking that, they were like, that's fucking weird. That's all I was saying. I think it's a great... I really want to talk about it.
So let me...
I don't want to... I want to listen.
I want to know what you think about that. No, I'm just kidding. We know what you think.
Well...
What are your thoughts?
Where do you fall?
Here, I'm not... So
How do
I
you
don't
feel being
speak.
a black woman?
Here, take this so I don't say shit on this topic.
All right, go, Kim.
Oh, okay. I thought about this because I've been thinking a lot lately about being in a role and being in a position of some form of authority that isn't political, right? So taking out like the politics of things. I am the number 2 person in my organization, right? So that's big. In any place you work, the number 2 person is like head honcho. But at times, I don't feel that way. And I wonder, is it because I'm a black woman or is it because I'm a female? And maybe 10 years ago, I would probably think it's because of my race. But the more and more I'm interacting with folks, especially men, I think it has more to do with my gender. And then my race is like secondary, but my gender is coming up because some of the things that are said does not matter what the gentleman looks like on the other side, race-wise. They still say very ignorant things to you as if you're the dumbest one in the room. I don't need my 27-year-old staff person explain to me something that I have more experience in, but in his mind, he needs to explain to me because I don't know, right? Like, how would you know? Like, you're a woman. And then I get the other end of it where it's just like I'm in a room and I have to deal with this 60-year-old plus person who I would just say failed their way upwards into a role that they shouldn't have and try to explain to me how to be a leader. And I'm like, you're never in your building, let alone in this city half the time, and your staff is crumbling to the knees because they don't have any direction from you. But please tell me, how do you lead? And I will help be a better leader myself. So at times, for a long time, I think there's situations where race does come first. But in majority of my career, I'm usually the only woman in the room. And I used to be like I was the only black person in the room. That has shifted a little bit of race. We have more diversity in that space. But when it comes to sitting at the table of authority, I'm usually the only woman with authority sitting at the table. And then I have to take all that intersectionality and try to make sense of it. And then put my own personal, I hate you, to the side and have to hear this person and give them space. While inside of me, I want to tell you're an effing idiot and you should be fired. And if you were reporting to me, you would have been fired like 2 minutes after I arrived here, like I fired the other guy who was incompetent. So I will hand it off to someone else.
Yeah. Is this John even on?
No, he gave you a bad
Bet. Okay, this is better. So, yeah, when you actually brought that up to us, it was something where my thoughts were definitely to be a woman, because I think being Black gives me an edge to things where I'm always coming into the situation just analyzing and having that side eye about, what are you about to take advantage of me? Like side eyeing the situation. But I've had moments, one time I was trying to buy a car and the guy kept talking to my boyfriend at the time, refused to talk to me about it. But my edge was like, oh, are we going to do that? No, talk to me about this car. You're not going to, don't play in my face type thing. And then I've also had this moment, I flashed back the other day to when I was running track. And after I run this race, the guy comes up to me and he's like, you have the best pacing. You ran so well. It's so great. But you might want to consider wearing a sports bra because your boobs were flapping up in your face. Now, I don't know if y'all notice, but I am not that girl. I am not endowed to that. So I don't even know why that was the case. But the fact that he had the audacity to even say something like that to me. But at the time, I'm just like, all right, so that's a left field type thing. But you're young at that time. But I'm like, that's a woman thing. That had nothing to do with my race, but that had to do with me being a female. And you just hear these things and you just go through life and you deal with it. But as I've gotten older, I'm like, I don't know, side eye. Don't watch what you say to me.
Yeah. Speaking of side eyes, Karen has one. It's been used on me many times.
Is she doing it now?
I don't know what you're talking about. When we had this question in our chat, I thought the same thing as Kimberly and Frances. Like, my gut was to say Black, but no, I really feel more disrespected as a woman in my positions. And so in my full-time role, I'm in a sales organization. I'm a salesperson, so I don't hold that much authority. I might pretend like I do, but I have a position of authority in a volunteer organization. And I feel like as a woman, it's like, why do I have to repeat myself? Like, I try to make sure that we're all having input because I don't want to run this chapter like it's mine. I have responsibilities and reporting responsibilities to an executive board. But when it comes to the day-to-day, like, those decisions are mine. I want everyone else on my leadership team to have input. But then why are you questioning my input? Because there's some things that it's pretty black and white. And so I feel like as a woman, they question me more. But if you were a man, y'all aren't taking the leap to make this commitment to volunteer in this position. So if you're not going to do it, leave me the hell alone. So when it comes to those things, that's why for me it's more of being a woman, the misogyny, and then not to bring it into politics, but when I really think about what happened at the election, I think there's so many people within my own community that question women with authority. That makes me answer that question 100 times out of 100. It's womanhood versus my race.
Hi. Wow, that's a nice applause break. We didn't hear that when Aaron was up here. Doesn't care. Rolls right off. It's unbelievable. It's like oil and water. I fucking hate him. So that was wonderful. When I got Vikki.
Yeah.
A lot, such specific answers with all three. This is really to each their own, I suppose, but really nuanced, detailed. I love it. Go ahead.
Yeah, so for me, life's been great, and I've never been judged on my race or my gender. So
No way.
Okay. All right, next question.
All the things, all the things have been working in my favor. So I was sharing with Peter an experience I had last week when Shirley Franklin, who was the former mayor of Atlanta, was retiring from our board of directors, and they had this beautiful banquet celebrating her. And my leader came back, and I was like, well, how was it? And he was like, oh, it was great. It was wonderful. The food was great, and Mayor Franklin was wonderful. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, cool. So I go back to my desk, and I'm sitting there, and one of the other EAs went into his office, executive assistants, senior executive assistants, C-suite. But anyway, she walks in, and she says, oh, how was it last night? And he said, oh, it was okay. It was just too much racial justice.
Social justice?
Social justice.
Social
yeah.
justice, you said.
So too much social justice.
He gave you one answer. He's
Yes.
a white man?
Yes.
Shocking. He gave you one answer, and then he gave somebody else a different answer.
Yes. I know. But you know what? It made me grateful that I see you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That there's no pretense of who you are.
Yeah.
I have a better understanding of who you are. So when I approach you, and the bad part about this is he is the SVP of HR. You're like, ugh. Yeah, ugh. Yeah, so that.
What does that stand for in his case? All right, well, anything else on that? I mean, want to pick up on anybody's answer?
Can I just say one last thing? And it's just not men who do it to each other. Women are the worst. And I don't know, and I don't know, maybe it's generational, but I feel that older women, for me, speaking for myself, depending on where their situation is in life and their past traumas that they haven't dealt with, they like to move that trauma on and say, I'm going to pass my trauma on to you and treat you like garbage. So I just want to be fair. It's not just men. And I think that sometimes could be age, gender, and at race at times.
And I'm sorry, Kim. I didn't mean to.
No, it wasn't you. It was the three women that made me cry.
We won't shout out. We won't shout out ages, but I'm pretty sure it goes like this. Youngest.
43. 44.
Second youngest.
Youngest.
No, she's youngest.
Yeah.
Frances is youngest. You're second youngest. She's third.
If he says oldest, I'm punching him.
I didn't say oldest. I was going to say...
If he says oldest...
The least youngest.
But what do I look like?
I said least youngest.
I look younger than
What
you.
is that?
You look younger than me?
Way
I don't
younger.
think anybody's looking at the two of us and be like, who looks younger?
Definitely.
I am.
I look
You
like
brought
a
it up.
fucking mole rat.
You look like
You
an
brought
old
it
man.
up.
Okay. What we like to do whenever we do one thing I love to do in our conversations is I like to go from serious to more frivolous and fun.
Our live
And so
conversations.
I was just handed this example for the discussion, which is Karen, and food comes up pretty much every episode. Karen had the great pleasure to eat with Vikki today, and something happened. It's not like what happened with you and I, but
Thank God.
with you and I there was an assault. But with you,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Do you want to, for anybody that might not know?
But can we make a back reference, though?
Sure.
So in some previous episodes, as Pete said, we tried to throw some fun in there. And one time we were talking about the condiments on certain things. Mm-hmm. And we brought up rice. And someone here on this panel has something called breakfast rice, which has sugar on it. So for me, that's...
Who gasped?
I don't... It's different to me.
There may be some...
It's different to me.
Let's say you owned restaurants. And
It's different
Would you
to me.
ever serve breakfast rice?
No.
Okay.
So,
All right, we got a professional.
Despite the overabundance of love that I have for Vikki and everything that she
Oh,
does,
couch it in a compliment.
Oh, my.
Couch it in a compliment.
That's a sandwich.
today, what had happened was today,
Today.
when we ordered our breakfast, Cindy was there, Frances was there, Rosalind was there. Somebody wanted potatoes, breakfast potatoes, and also asked for syrup.
What's wrong with that? Okay,
Thank
what
you.
is it? What is wrong? Where are we
This is a non-controversy.
This is not a controversy.
Oh.
Syrup on hash browns is delicious.
Controversy.
And I
Like
believe
the Prince song.
Then,
Are
what,
you-
butter and syrup on hash browns is controversy? Why? It's potatoes. It's
not.
breakfast.
It's counter to the crispiness of the potatoes
No,
that were
it's not. You
served
can
this
still
morning.
get
Yes, it was.
You can still get crispy.
Yes.
You get crispy, sticky, and sweet. And by the way, I wanted to add this to it. Add
Wow,
little butter.
Canadian maple syrup. Canadians walk around with maple syrup in their...
Oh, God.
Who wants to fight with Canada?
Do you have hot sauce in your bag? No, I have maple syrup.
Why fight with Canada when they're so nice? Thank you, Carla.
Anyway.
Yeah. No.
I'm jealous.
I think you missed Karen. She said, do you have hot sauce in your bag?
No.
No maple syrup.
I do.
So go ahead, defend yourself, you psychopath. And well, apparently, and by
I
the
did
way,
it for Vikki, so Vikki, you don't
Kimberly apparently supports it, and apparently there's a lot of talk in the crowd about
Me
this.
and Frances.
Look, if you've never done it, just give it a shot. It's like potato pancakes with a little bit of syrup on it. Yeah.
It wasn't a little bit.
It was a good amount, but they were still crispy. Stop.
It wasn't a drip, like holding it like this. It was this.
Oh,
That's the
Tina.
Zoom. Hold
Hi,
on.
Tina.
I heard Tina on the Zoom just
That was
now.
Tina. Hi, Tina.
Oh, hi, Tina.
We miss you.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize the mic was up. I'm sorry.
You knew we needed you here.
Syrup on hash browns is definitely the way to go.
Thank you, Tina. I've been vindicated. I've been vindicated.
Okay, that's good, Tina. Thank you.
Yeah.
I-
Mic off.
I love
Cut her
that.
mic.
I love that your voice just... No, she muted herself. Okay, so that's the way we can talk more about, obviously.
We don't
You don't have to.
Your weird preferences in food. But just real quick, we do want an update from Hue episode number 1 or 2. It caused a lot of stir then. It continues to. And of all this group, I would argue in these conversations, Kimberly takes the most abuse, as she should because of her weird things. But she makes, at one point, she made sandwiches for the week, for the whole week. And our thing, some of us, all of us, at least on the panel, wondered about that Thursday, Friday, her face.
He said used to, though. He said used to.
No, I still do. I just don't tell you.
So, just wanted the update. Yeah. So you're still making those sandwiches for the week?
On occasion, when I...
On the mic, please. We want to hear this.
On occasion, when I have a craving for something, I make my sandwiches. And I learned this practice from a good friend of mine. And honestly, when you're like on the go and you don't think about making food, it's no different than other people meal prepping. It's just sandwich prepping.
The thing I think that a lot of people had issue with.
What's the issue? It's in the
that you
refrigerator.
put condiments or even like.
But it's in the refrigerator. It's not soggy because you toast the bread. That's what you do first. And you don't put a lot of salt. First of all, you don't understand the process. So, so I don't.
Wow.
That part.
I just want to be very clear.
Wow.
I don't know what we're going here. We're not eating
Okay,
sandwiches
right.
are not soggy. You use a certain type of bread.
What type?
You use the thins. No, I was trying it. Didn't like it. So I went back to the thins, and I used the thins. You know the thins you get? Use that, toast them, nicely toasted, a light layer, and then I build my sandwich with nothing with... I tried the lettuce. I no longer do that.
We took issue.
And
That's because
then-
we said stuff. We had an intervention.
Well, I was trying a different process, and I should have just did my regular process. But you all just want to know what has been like. I've gone back to my former process, which works perfectly.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know what that passive-aggressive thank you was at the end, but...
Nothing passive. There was nothing passive about that aggressiveness. There's no
you said
passive.
thank you like it was a defense of what you did. It's not. It was, but all right, whatever.
Yeah, keep going.
No.
Next question.
I don't have a job, so I don't know.
Thank
you. So let's go back to the serious, which is...
You started.
I think this is the part where... Now, I was just going to redo the bit of Karen and I... Well, Karen had ordered chicken wings, and I was there. We'll come back to it. We've all heard that one.
You're wrong in your behavior.
To say the least.
Note to self, don't eat lunch or anything with
Don't eat finger food with Pete.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, here it is. After the election in November, when we were all despondent, and still are, and lost, for me, the primary concern was like, what do I do with the show? What do I do? What do I say? And I called both Karen and Frances separately. I believe they just said, I'm finding my joy right now. That's what I'm doing. And I was really surprised that you weren't despondent and terrified. And I'm sure you had all those feelings, but it was like how you were managing it, your reactions surprised me, and they instilled in me the idea. For me, it was what I took from that is I'm going to do a inspiring segment, which is where this I did for almost 2 months. The good stuff came from because you said I'm looking for the joy. So the question is the same. How are you looking at the day-to-day horrific news, specifically vis-a-vis race and gender, erasing history? How are we doing now? What's the practice? Has it changed in terms of both your news intake, how you digest things, and how you react or what you do if you compartmentalize, whatever? I'll start with you, Frances. Do you have a practice? Do you have extra way to think about it all now as it flows out constantly?
Yeah, the latest thing that I've done, actually, I was talking to a wellness coach, and I had some really bad days within the past week or so where I was spiraling, and I'm going on to Threads, and I'm spending all this time. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm fighting with people on Facebook where it's just like I have to show them. I have to prove to them why what they're saying is freaking nonsensical. And so the coach was like, maybe you should just put like a timer on your apps and just cut it out, which I didn't realize you could do. And so now I have about 30 minutes dedicated to the 3 apps and then Instagram and all that stuff. And it's been actually really great because what it's done is that knowing that there's a timer really makes me more conscientious about even getting onto it in the first place. So I don't even open them as much, or if I do, it's just let me see this one thing, let me comment really quickly, and then just put it away. And so then I'm finding I'm not even hitting those 30 minutes, and then I'm spending so much more time actually working, which is crazy because before I could just sit on these things, and then I'm like, oh, wait, an hour and a half just went by, and I put a period at the end of the sentence before, like the whole day. But that's pretty much what I'm doing. And then I'll also talk to my boyfriend on occasion. Why are you arguing with these people? And I'm just like, because I have to. I just need to do it. I need to feed the need. But it has been so much nicer. My sanity is back. And it's just been great because it really had gotten to a point before this where I was like, I don't even know if I want to. If I come here, I was afraid that it could be a spiraling moment because it's just so much going on every 5 seconds about what the hell did this man just do today? What did he do an hour ago that's going to cause these ripple effects? And so all you can do now is just cheers to that. Yes.
Kimberly, same. How do you deal with it? How much do you even look at the news day to day?
I read the news, so okay. I just don't get it fed to me by
podcast.
No. I will talk to you about the podcast problem. Anyway. You know what? I will say this because of, as you all know, because Pete likes to remind people of what I do. I'm in government. I have a lot of friends I have a number of friends who are in federal government right now we all made decisions, right? I decided to go the local route. They went the federal route. This is all they know. And people don't understand, and I had to tell this to residents the other day. I was at a meeting, and they talk about we need to trim the fat, say these things to us. And I just looked at them, and I just rubbed my tummy. I said, this is where the fat's at. It's people. And at the end of the day, the stories that have been told that even people who call themselves progressives, Democrats, liberals, Republicans, conservatives, all that, you've all been fed the same narrative. And it's no different than DEI with diversity, equity, inclusion. We all been fed the same narrative of what that meant. And what that meant is Black, Hispanic, undocumented. And so we believe that. But the beneficiaries of the DEI really was white women. And so affirmative action the same way. And I remember a few years ago, I was telling people we have to figure out a better way of how to tell this story differently than using, anytime when you have to use initials and you have to explain to people what those initials really mean, you lost the narrative.
Yeah.
And people don't even understand the word equity. And equity really is the most powerful of the three initials. Yes, diversity is important. Inclusion is important. But without equity, you won't get either diversity or inclusion. You just get the narrative of, I would call performatism. Being performative is what we've been doing. And so at the government level, it's harder because we have been starved for 30 years of resources. So I know people don't want their property taxes increased, but those property taxes are increased because we have to keep up with CIP, which unfortunately, just like you in the private sector, we have to pay. We don't get a government discount on goods and services. So you end up starting cutting, and then it becomes people. And when I tell people that it is, when people say we want police and fire, we want our public service, yes, we do want our sworn officers. They make up the bulk of most local government budgets. But the people in the back room, people like me, are like 3%, but they're the first to get cut. And then you wonder why, when it's time to do things, when it comes to like, why when I process a permit or a payment, government sucks. You guys do nothing. Well, no, it's now it went from 10 people to 2 people. Right. And we haven't figured out how to automate everything in the public sector because we can't, because there's laws that dictate how we can do things. Think of that at the federal level. And think about how every time an administration shifts, they have a different policy. And what I tell people is, I am not a policymaker. I implement policy. The policymakers are the electeds. So who you elect is what the policy is. And I have to figure out how to make it work. And sometimes it's harmful. I just say that and I'll be done. Our federal employees right now are suffering. And DEI is everyone in this room in some form or fashion. And I think I am tired of hearing the rhetoric, just like people came into the streets when they saw a man get assassinated in front of us in Minnesota. People need to come to the streets because that's the only time government is going to hear you. It's interesting how people are quiet because it affects you, but it doesn't impact you.
We're comfortable. I'm not going to say anything to Rush.
But I just say that you're scared. But guess what? So were a lot of our freedom fighters of the 1950s and so forth. And what I would tell people, we've been through this as a country before. This is why the 1964 Civil Rights Act was not the first Civil Rights Act of the United States. Right. So we can't pretend like this hasn't been here. We haven't been here before. So I say all that, Pete. Sorry.
Well, the question, I was going to ask a whole DEI thing. The question was about like Vikki and Carol. I haven't heard from you about like news and tape. But since you mentioned it, jump in on that too. And I think it was really interesting because Frances yesterday, I picked Frances up at the airport, and what was it that got us on it? Oh, we were talking about the news and we were talking about the signal leak. And I said, this guy that gave a journalist war plans is the top national security person in the administration. He's the national security advisor, and the CIA reports to him. And this guy is awful at his job. I go, talk about a DEI hire. And Frances, like, gently reminded me, she's like, we can't fall into using their language. And so I wanted you to pick up on that, you guys, too, because we haven't heard from you on this issue. So the question, again, was about how you're dealing with news and if you have any habits. But then, obviously, Kimberly brought up everything. I'm glad you did. And then I wanted to mention what Frances said. So, Vikki, do you have spirals every day with the news and you hear about things? Or do you have
I have moments, but I have to keep in mind what's important. I have to keep in mind what are the things that I can do, and understanding that I do have limitations and putting those limits and stuff on myself, because in the evenings, it's mostly I take care of my 2 granddaughters. They're 3 and 2 years old, and both of them have sickle cell. And you never know from one day to the next whether or not they're going to have an episode. We had a stretch of about 6 weeks where nobody was in the hospital. We were grateful for that. And then we had last Thursday, Leah ended up going to the hospital with problems with her spleen. And we know that eventually she'll probably have to lose her spleen, but what's most important to me, rather than understanding that all these government cuts are going to affect them, it's going to affect their health care, it's going to affect the research into their health care. But I've got these two beautiful, wonderful faces looking at me every day, and I can't be, woe is us. I've got to do Baby Shark. I've got to watch Jingle Jangle, which they love. They love watching Jingle Jangle, and they just light up and they go, buddy. And so it's pouring into
Jingle
them.
Jangle's canceled. All joy will be removed.
All joy's gone. So it's really just finding the things that you can do, what you can do in your community. Our church has started a co-op. We found out we're not going to get the amount of food that we've been getting from the Atlanta Food Bank. So it's going to be on us who are surviving right now to start trying to build up the storehouse so that when people are going to need food that we know is safe, because they're cutting inspectors, we'll have food that we know is safe that we can give to our community and to our friends. So my thing is this, is find something for your hands to do.
Yes.
That we can always be sad and we can always be broken down about what's going on, but find something for your hands to do. You will feel better when you are doing something. Now, I get on TikTok lives and bitch and moan. I do that.
You do?
Yeah. I cuss people out.
Okay.
Well,
I didn't know.
I'm nice about it, though.
I'll tune in.
Yeah, I just go, shut up. But anyway, that has to be limited because of the other responsibilities, and that it doesn't bring the joy and it doesn't bring a positive outcome. And that's what I need in my life. I need things that are going to, it can be incremental. It doesn't have to be right now. It's not microwave. It's not Jiffy Pop. It's going to take time to right this ship. So we just got to keep working at it and do what we can do. And that's what I do.
Jiffy Pop.
Classic. Don't make fun.
They still make them.
Okay, all right. Correct. Thought I was going to win that one, but everybody was against me. But you said that thing about doing something with your hands. I feel like you told us that one night at a hangout, which you have many nights at a hangouts given these inspiring moments, and you said something about, I think, your grandmother or your mother?
Yeah, my grandma. Find what your hands can do.
Find what your hands can do.
Yeah.
I love it.
So even when we're little and we're cleaning the house on a Saturday, is that your experience? It's mine. So on Saturdays, it's cleaning the house. Oh, yeah. And even when you were little, she would just say, find what your hands can do. So if the only thing you can do is polish off a banister, then you just grab that rag and polish off that banister. It's just find that one thing.
A banister.
Well, we did. We were fancy.
Apparently.
That was
K-Mad, Karen Madison, same question or anything you want about all of this, because I remember when I called you after the election, you're like, I'm watching crime shows. I'm finding my joy. And I was like, wait, what? Yeah, I'm not even listening to you or paying attention to anything. I'm finding my joy. And I was like, that is interesting. And that's when I discovered season 3 of Reacher on Amazon Prime.
Oh, Jesus Louise.
Drink!
So I won't lie, I've definitely reduced my news consumption. I do get caught up in the headlines, right? Sometimes I'm like, all right, let me double check. So especially when I don't even know who it was talking about. Oh, we're going to find fraud in someone talking about not receiving their Social Security check. I looked into that because I have a mother who's ill, and that's 95% of her income, and that would really stress me and my brother out as we care for her. So I do check in, but I have to still give myself limits. But I also am not out of the fight. I might not be in it like the ways that I used to. And you're going to hear me continue to reference this organization that I'm a part of. And just for a little background, it's called National Sales Network, and it was honestly built 32 years ago for salespeople from disadvantaged communities, because you'd go out there and work and you had no one that looked like you. And 30 years later, it is evolving from just being solely for African Americans, but it looks to help salespeople, regardless of the industry, like skill build and network. So if they need another job or they need a mentor, like it's all of those kind of associated activities. And that's where my energy is. So it's helping people that are young and trying to break in the industry, or new salespeople that are trying to figure out, how do I carve a path to advance? Or for people that are middle-aged like myself, who hopefully don't have too many years of having to like schlep around across the Beltway and drive through traffic to talk to some young person at the front desk who's not going to let me see the doctor. And I'm like, come on, chick, let me go. I'm going to be 5 minutes. I'm going to be out of your hair. But that's where my energy is. So it's still trying to help people who may be just in a position where they don't have the collective power. How can I use my 24 years of knowing people in this industry to maybe help you figure out a new skill, or figure out, is this a job that I want to pursue? That's where my energy is. So it may not be as political as I have been before, but to me, that's where I can best serve people right now. And if it ends up being in 6 months or a year that I'm going to hop out to a protest, cool, but I'm still in the fight. So for me, that satisfies me. But when I come home, I'm not going to watch 4 hours of MSNBC. I just bought Wicked. I know I'm like very late.
You bought it?
Yes.
You bought the movie?
But the digital access to it on Apple TV.
You buy them so you can watch them over and over?
I want it forever.
You want it? You buy it? She's appalled. I'm sorry. Do you have a text message coming in?
So for me, no, I don't.
This is what I usually do when we're doing live. I usually be on my
Well, I don't usually see it. I feel deeply offended.
But for me, it was like that movie and the musical. It gives me like a little access to some place that's not as serious.
The joy.
The politics makes our lives stressful. Our jobs make it stressful. Our family lives. And then, like, where is the time for me to escape? If it's a movie today, if it's a crime show tomorrow, if it's basketball this weekend, like, whatever it is, let's just take a break, take a beat, and that's it. And then when I wake up the next day, I'll give you what I have.
Love that. All of it. Real easy, real quick, serious or funny, whatever you want. I'll start with you, Kimberly. What scares you? Or keeps you up at night?
Squirrels. Great callback.
That's a callback to...
Who tried to choke me?
That's callback to Kimberly's homeownership.
When you have a dead rabbit in your front yard, you have a different perspective.
Just water.
What scares me? Okay, what scares me really, I know it sounds like it's out of my control. What scares me is that we have stopped empathy. I don't know how to explain this, but everyone is so, like, you ask me what I'm doing. Like, I have to, like, be moving constantly in sometimes when I'm in situations. But our young people are so... What scares me is that how are we helping our young people who, at infancy, all they know is social media. Everything is in 10-second bites, 120 words. Like, what I fear most is that the movie Idiocracy is going to be our reality.
It's gonna be.
It is.
It's shifting that way, but it's not there fully yet. But it's heading that direction.
That's a good answer. Yeah, what scares you is the degradation of critical thinking, people believing anything and being true. Yeah. Didn't give you this ahead of time. This is maybe a harder question. Anybody can answer it for themselves, but I just thought it would be interesting for us. What scares you? Because you all seem so confident and capable, and I turn to you when I'm coming undone too many times. What about it, Frances?
On a non-serious note, opening biscuits and champagne bottles. That freaks me the fuck out. It's a Jack in the Box for adults.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
It scares
I
the
understand
dickens
opening
out of me.
ship. I know. Maybe I speak for some. What do you mean opening biscuit?
The
What is
biscuit
that?
thing where you have to use a spoon and it's like poof, and it just you never know when it's gonna happen. That I'm just like.
He doesn't cook.
I'm sorry.
Pete
Pete
Are we
doesn't
too fancy
cook.
for you?
What is everybody saying?
Pete doesn't cook.
What do you mean open? Everybody's like, yeah, I know what you mean with the open biscuits. I'm like, what is opening a biscuit? What is a biscuit?
No, it's biscuits. Instant biscuits.
Pete cook.
Is like a jack
I
in
have
a
people
box.
open my biscuits for me.
I don't want to talk about your biscuits.
No, not just like cutting a biscuit and just opening a biscuit.
Okay,
Yes,
those
you
are the
can.
non.
That is the non-serious.
I've already learned something. And what about the serious?
As a person that's really into media, I've always studied it, technology, the advancements in technology. It really is deepfakes. And the fact that we aren't educated. Deepfakes,
Yep.
yes. So this idea that people aren't educated, we don't have media literacy, we trust anything that we're given.
Yeah.
And so when you start introducing in this ability of AI to mimic things, and we already believe what somebody's saying at the helm, where Donald Trump can just say, the sky is pink. People are like, yes, the sky is pink. But then if you actually have the deep fakes of people saying it, so you take Joe Biden's likeness or Kamala Harris's likeness or something like that, and you have that, that just...
AI deepfake. That's it. No, that's it. Absolutely.
And you can do the audio. Yeah, that's something that's pretty terrifying.
Do you have a joke answer and a serious answer, you two?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
What happens with a biscuit? Like it comes out, it like...
Just a poof. And it's a poof.
If we have to teach you this, we are
Costco
lost.
run after the show.
I don't know
Okay.
why.
My non-serious yet very serious answer.
Eating with me?
No, although on the list. My fear is sharks.
Oh.
Irrational fear, can't get over it. Long story, whatever.
Baby sharks?
Jaws.
Okay.
Jaws. I don't know what that is. I'm a grown-up.
That's the baby shark.
But honestly, I think my fears change on a regular basis, and I don't want to be all super, super serious right now. But, like, I just lost a childhood friend's dad who was very close to me, and it makes me think about my parents' mortality. So if I'm just saying current events, what scares me is that part.
Sure.
Because watching her go through it, y'all know we're on a dementia journey with my mother. Her dad has had Alzheimer's, and it was like a 6-year awful decline. And so right now, that's the fear that hits me. I only found out about that last Saturday. So I know it's the circle of life. I know I'm a grown-up. I know I can handle it, but it's so close to home. That's where my head is.
Sorry for your loss.
Thank
I appreciate
you.
you sharing that.
Thank you.
What was so special about this person?
So
Your friend's dad?
my friend's dad. So I've known her since we were in second grade. We went to college together. But as a teen, he was my soccer coach. And what I appreciated about him is, like, he gave me the chance to talk to him, like, as I grew up. So it wasn't just like that parent-child thing, the adult, you listen to me thing. Like, he allowed me to talk and have conversations. So we just really formed this cool little relationship. And over the years, even if I wasn't home, say there was a U.S. women's national team or a men's national team game, and it would just be like the random Saturday afternoon call. I'd be like, oh my God, did you see that goal? So we just had this bond, and I'm fortunate for that. Not everyone has that. So a lot of people will be like, I hated my coach or whatever. We developed this awesome friendship. So I'll miss him. Thank you. I'll miss him, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the time. So.
Good. That's a great answer. And I fear you have a lot of irrational fears. And do you have any real fears?
I do. I'm afraid of bald men.
Encroaching on your space.
Do you see a difference between a white bald man and a black bald man?
You can't set me up like that, Pete. You just can't.
exactly.
No, you can't do it.
You do have a
Bad
little
hair.
hair.
You do.
I have a
You
little
do.
hair. I let it grow.
I didn't know that.
He's
Not so bald after all.
but your legs are.
That was not something everybody knew.
Okay, sorry.
Lower legs don't grow hair.
They don't.
This is not fair. because I love if a serious one. Everyone gets to get like
We'll come back to you for your joke answer.
not joke.
Oh, you want your serious?
It's a serious one.
Okay, well,
it's a serious spirit. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Because you weren't talking about Walton. That's not serious.
Okay. I don't think about what scares me. I just don't. But I do have the reality that what's happening right now, how it's going to affect the babies, right? And knowing that the research for sickle cell cures has been phenomenal over the last 5-10 years. And with the new methods that they have, that there was some hope that these treatments were going to be available, and we just don't know. Everything is in flux. But so you still go back to, all right, we are going to have to play the cards we're dealt, and we'll have to figure things out, and we will. I just don't see us being the people that just lay down and let this tyrant run over us. I see us as people at some point, we're going to stand up and we're going to not just let it happen without us working and fighting. I just see us fighting. I
love
just
it.
really do.
I love it. Kimberly, you wanted to
Yes,
add something. Sorry, did you have somebody to add on Facebook, or what do you got?
No,
going
I was
on?
just looking at my bank account.
You're looking at your bank account right now?
Yeah.
Ooh. Unbelievable. I bet you it's
Them big Peoria
Yeah.
bucks.
Them big $2. Okay. Biggest fear is horror movies.
Horror movies.
Fair.
I don't do horror.
Horror movies.
I said horror. I don't know how to say horror, but yes.
Horror.
Not
Horror movies.
Horror.
How do we
many,
say it?
How many R's are in there?
Horror.
What's your favorite horror movie?
Horror.
Officer and Gentleman?
Horror.
Pretty Woman?
Horror movie. Horror. I don't know, y'all.
I'm with you. I
Horror.
get it.
Scary.
No, horror, y'all. It ain't no, it's horror movies. That's the genre. Okay. I am seriously scared that, and I don't like spicy food.
Like no spice? What level of spice? Can you do salt and pepper?
I can do salt, a little pepper.
Chili powder.
Chili pepper, what?
Chili powder. Like a little hotter.
A little with
So I think
paprika.
what happened? Are you a little girl?
Am I a little what?
Like you're little, you don't like hot things, like
I don't like
something happened?
spicy. I don't like spicy.
Did something happen? Did the spice
I'm not
hurt
making
you?
fun. I'm just
Yeah.
asking. So when we plan
Yeah.
our next
I was
gathering.
making
You're making fun.
Yeah,
But that's okay, because I can receive it, because guess what? I stand in my power of being not one to like spicy, because I like to enjoy food, and I can't enjoy something I don't like.
Oh, you sound like Aaron Carroll.
Oh my God.
Don't give me, if you get, but here's the thing, I will eat the Flamin' Hots. I will eat a bag of Flamin' Hots, but I can't do nothing else.
Flamin' Hot Cheetos?
Flamin' Hots, whatever now. Flamin' Hots come in all different types of things now.
Okay, that's spicy.
Those flaming hot Cheetos
Super confused
ripped
now.
my soul apart. Those were too much.
No Mexican. There you go.
No.
So horror movies and spicy.
All right. Well, those are good. Those are good answers. Okay. Well, I think we're out of time. We're over time in this this room.
Question.
Yeah, we're supposed to be out here at 3, so we have to wrap now. Right now.
No, we're supposed to be out of here.
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, we don't have any time for questions. Well, how quick is it?
It's pretty quick.
You could have asked it without this.
How
Go.
come Vikki has to take so much abuse about breakfast choices when Eric Siegel has been in this room today?
Well, because he's not on stage. And
I don't
he
know
left.
what his
If he
breakfast
were-
choices are.
If he were here, we would, he eats a lot of children's cereal.
He's
I'm just
on.
trying to defend.
He is
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah, no.
He is.
He eats children's sugar cereal. Do you eat, like, children's sugar cereal? Fruity Pebbles?
Frosty Flakes.
You eat Frosted Flakes?
Yes.
I had Cocoa Pebbles.
Honey Nut
Cocoa Pebbles?
No, I had
Honey Nut
Cocoa
Cheerios.
Puffs in my linen closet.
You know who
in my
eats children's
closet.
cereal? Neely, who is on season 3 of Reacher.
Reacher.
Drink. We're out of time. Give it up for the Ladies of the Hue. There you go. I hope that you liked it, and I hope that you will let the ladies know if you see them at a hangout or talk to them online at any point. So great to get them
part of this community and, of course, on the podcast for, I think, an 8th time, the Ladies of The Hue. So good. Thanks for listening. Hope you liked it. Hope you're having a good weekend or whenever you're listening to it. Finding the joy wherever you can, as the ladies have always taught us to do. Okay. Bye-bye. Talk to you tomorrow.
Challenge, let the meek weak flee. Boy, you better stand up. When you're tired of begging, saying pretty please, that's the time you gotta finally get up on your knees. When you can't see the forest for the burning trees, you got to stand up.